was another full week of legislative coverage here at the Capitol. Let's take a look back at what happened during the week. On Monday, the House Veterans Affairs Division heard testimony and reports of loan companies defrauding veterans and their beneficiaries. House File 368, sponsored by Representative Matt Bliss, would prohibit predatory lenders from breaking federal law and entering into contracts with veterans or their beneficiaries, and allow veterans to void these types of contracts. Committee Chair Representative Bob Detmer spoke in favor of the proposed legislation.
What I see happening here is, as we move this bill forward, we're telling people in the state of Minnesota, those veterans that are retired here, and I think we're probably going to have more veterans retired here based on legislation passed in the past, that we're going to do what's right and make sure that you're not taken advantage of.
Some townships in 2016 found themselves in a catch-22 of thinking their local Board of Appeal and Equalization was in compliance with a training requirement, only to lose that status because the trained person died, moved, or lost the position in an election. Without action at the state level by the end of January to provide a waiver from the requirement, these affected townships would see the board's duties transferred to a county level for upcoming assessment years. Sponsored by Representative Greg Davids, House File 244 as amended would provide the waiver. The bill passed 128-0 by the House Monday.
This came to us from the township officers. They got in a little bind here, and so we're trying to help them out. I worked closely with the Department of Revenue, so the Department of Revenue is fine with this.
On Tuesday, the House Health and Human Services Reform Committee heard testimony on suicide prevention programs. House File 501, sponsored by Representative Kelly Fenton, would appropriate $2 million in fiscal year 2018 to fund a Department of Human Services grant that would allow Canvas Health to stabilize and expand an access to suicide prevention programs that give immediate support to people through their phone calls or text messages.
When my daughter was about 10 years old, I was driving her to a party, and we came across what was suicide. Somebody had literally drove their car to the overpass and literally got out and jumped over. And it raised a lot of questions with my daughter, questions I wasn't really comfortable answering at the time for a 10-year-old. But I did say something to her: no matter how bad it is, no matter what happens, just know there are always people that love you and somebody out there you could talk to. And after she absorbed that for a while, she asked, what happens if there's nobody around?
The bill was approved by the House Health and Human Services Reform Committee and was sent to the House Health and Human Services Finance Committee. January 23rd marked the official start of tax season, and the Internal Revenue Service expects over 153 million individual tax returns to be filed in 2017. On Wednesday, the House Taxes Committee heard an overview from the Department of Revenue that focused on income tax returns, property tax returns, identity theft, and auditing procedures.
We continually evaluate how we serve more and more of our customers. And unfortunately, as more and more identities are stolen, other fraud schemes emerge, or simple fact errors are made on filed returns, the department needs to take steps to make sure we're protecting taxpayers, their refunds, and the state's general fund.
A new House committee is tasked with what House Speaker Kurt Doudt said is a long-range vision for improving how an ever-increasing technology-centric citizenry interacts with its government.
In today's day and age, when you can do anything that you want on your smartphone, people demand an easier, better way of interacting with everything in their life, from getting a cup of coffee to ordering their lunch to an Uber to getting a driver's license or paying their taxes. And I think state government has been a little slow in adapting and using technology in the way that the private sector has. So, we obviously want to have that higher level. If you think of how many interactions using technology that state government has with its citizens, it's literally potentially in the thousands. We want to have a higher level committee that looks at all of those and how they interact with each other and how we can do that better but more efficiently.
Representative Dave Baker has been chosen to head the 10-member Select Committee on Technology and Responsive Government. Its job will be to seek input from the public, find ways technology can improve citizen interaction with government, and look for outside answers to inside problems. On Thursday, the House Taxes Committee heard testimony from Representative Bob Gunther on his bill, House File 487. Gunther's bill would provide tax exemptions for nonprofit animal shelters.
You take a veterinarian, takes a cat, gives us its shots, neuter it, cleans it up, gets it ready for adoption, and they got $70 in it. So the animal shelter typically, I call quite a few of them, $75, $80. With that, they don't make much money, do they?
A bill that would stop cities from enacting local labor laws was approved by the House Job Growth and Energy Affordability Policy and Finance Committee late Thursday on a 13-9 party line roll call vote. Sponsored by Representative Pat Garofalo, the committee chair, House File 600 as amended would prohibit local units of government from regulating private businesses.
For the past 100 years, it has been the experience of this state that we've had uniform labor standards. This bill does one thing and one thing only. It simply conforms the state of Minnesota to those standards.
Testifiers representing restaurants, bowling alleys, contractors, truckers, grocers, and bar owners said they'd be overburdened without uniform statewide labor laws.
Every day I wake up, I fight for my own family, and I fight for my work family. And I am currently under assault by the city of Minneapolis and the environment that they are creating for small business employers.
Several bill opponents say they felt local control was under attack.
And I just am appalled and do not understand how, with a flip of a moment, we are trying to take the right of local government to make decisions about their citizens.
The bill next goes to the House Government Operations and Election Policy Committee. Thanks for watching. For more coverage on the Minnesota House of Representatives, check out our Session Daily coverage on the House website, www.house.mn/sessiondaily.